The opinions and views expressed by individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of this network, their group, or other organization they may be involved with.
I'm looking at myself, reflections of my mind. It's just the kind of day to leave myself behind. So gently swaying through the fairyland of love. If you'll just come with me, you'll see the beauty of Tuesday evening news. Tuesday evening
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Psychedelic Reporters this Tuesday, the 8th of July, episode 164 here on Knock Network, the video podcast focused on psychedelic medicine being reported in mainstream media. Shout out to the guys in Dead Ringer from Kirkland Lake, Ontario for the awesome intro track, originally recorded by the Moody Blues, with some customized changes for our show. I am joined by my amazing, not Tara Simpson, but my amazing subjoint host, Ron McNabb, along with the one and only Bufo Alvarius, who has chosen all of our stories for us. Hello, Ron.
Hello, how are you tonight, Hobbies? And let's see, hold on. Yeah, hello, Hobbies. Hello, everyone. I'd like to introduce Bufo to you all. Here he is, right there, coming up. Hold on. There he is. I'd like to introduce Bufo to you guys. He is the Sonoran Desert Toad, or also known as the Colorado Mud Toad, and he does emit DMT from his skin. So we'd like to, the park rangers would like to remind everyone to please don't lick the toad. No licking toads around here, folks. Don't lick the toad.
No licking toads, no licking toads. Hey, and I just thought of an idea. You know that one article you popped up that Bufo showed you? Why don't we put that one in place of that other one?
Which one?
The one that you showed me, the raid one.
Yeah, one that we I put up in the chat. Okay, yeah, we'll grab that. So are you ready to, you got your stuff?
I'm ready. Our first one comes out of Marijuana Moment. Yep. And Marijuana Moment talks to us about Iowa lawmaker supporting medical psilocybin bashes the bill that would have legalized only a synthetic version of the psychedelic.
Right, and this was published on. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Continue. Yeah,
okay. This was published on June 29th, 2025 by Marijuana Moment. Okay, where is it? Okay. Shipley said he condemns pathways for its. Okay, what is this? Does not make sense where it's starting out at, but okay,
no, that's still the subtitles, dude.
Yeah, I see that. Shipley said he condemns Compass Pathways for its approach at creating and patenting a synthetic version of the natural psilocybin that God has given us that everyone knows and loves. And this is by Cami Coons, Iowa City Dispatch, an Iowa lawmaker who pushed for the passage of a bill to create a state program allowing the medicinal use of psilocybin, said Governor Kim Reynolds, a Republican, decision to veto a bill pertaining to the psychoactive compound in magic mushrooms was a great decision. It goes on here to say Representative Jeff Shipley, Republican from Fairfield, said rather than focus on rescheduling a synthetic version of the drug, the state should instead prioritize creating a state program legalizing the psychiatric use of naturally occurring psilocybin. House File 383 would have allowed for the prescription and distribution of synthetic psilocybin immediately following the federal approval of the drug, and mirrored a similar bill which was signed into law in Colorado.
The bill was dealt with crystalline polymorph psilocybin, a compound commonly known as COP360, which a treatment developed by the biotechnology company Compass Pathways to help patients with treatment of resistant depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and anorexia nervosa. Shipley said he condemns Compass Pathways for its approach at creating and patenting a synthetic version of the natural psilocybin that God has given us that everyone knows and loves. Compass Pathways declined to comment on the veto of the bill, which it lobbied in support of. And on Shipley's comment, Shipley emailed statement also apologized for his vote in favor of the bill, which passed unanimously in both the House and the state. The proper legal framework is to reschedule psilocybin to Schedule 4 or 3 and allow the relevant state regulatory boards to make it available as medicine, Shipley said. Reynolds, in her explanation of the veto, similarly has said that the state should have time to review any federal action on the synthetic version of the drug before it legalizes it at that state level. Shipley was a vocal supporter of House File 978, which would have legalized the use of psilocybin for psychiatric treatment through a state program. The proposed program would have operated similarly to the state's medical cannabis program. The bill passed the House with an overwhelming majority in late April, but was not taken by the Senate. Oh wow! I almost read the whole damn thing. Sorry, man. It's my hope and prayer that the
It's okay. It's
governor's
a fairly
office,
short one.
Iowa Senate, will agree to take up HF 97. It was immediately priority next January. Shipley said, "We'll look at it next year."
That's a typical response in a lot of these articles. We'll look at it next year, right? Oh man. Anyways, yeah, great story, and I do like the fact that they're holding out for the natural version and not the synthetic, because as most patients, they probably would prefer the natural version, because a lot of these patients are coming away from synthetic pharmaceuticals. So give them the option of the natural version of the psychedelics, right?
Right. Well, and it's Iowa. Iowa has been so strict on any type of natural drugs in their policies and whatnot. And so, I mean, the fact that they're talking about it, yeah, it's like getting voters, it's getting that. But again, we're talking about a state that still has yet, like, I think they just pulled the plug on a medical program.
Oh wow. Wow.
Like I think they just started medical cannabis, didn't they?
To be honest with you, I really don't know. So much is happening with regards to cannabis in so many states
Oh,
it's just happening too fast for me to keep track of.
right.
Honestly,
But
I think the
what
majority.
they,
I think the majority of states have
yeah.
some form of
But
medical
I
program.
know they've been really strict on it, on it, and
Yeah,
like for a while they were just collecting the drive-throughs as people went to legal states to get cannabis, and then they would
right.
pull people over and then call that the drug problem. Like I like that, yeah. But I mean
Yeah,
that being said, I mean it's as a synthetic. The fact that they're even looking at okay, if we are going to do it, we don't want the fake stuff. So I mean that was kind of cool. Or are they?
yeah. That's
Was that their
yeah.
way to weasel out of it?
Who knows? Who knows? I'm sure it's a
Yeah,
story that we'll be following here on the show. So,
yeah.
anyways, here we go. We're going to move over on to our next story. Here we go. This one here is from the Times of India. The headline is I had no desire to play. Colts Braden Smith confronts OCD with psychedelics after faith driven spiral nearly ends NFL career. This is from the timesofindia.com on June 28th, 2025. Indianapolis Colts Braden Smith bravely battled severe OCD, specifically religious scrupulosity that nearly ended his NFL career, consumed by guilt and intrusive thoughts. Uh, Smith sought help after debilitating mental breakdowns. With his wife's support, he underwent psychedelic therapy in Mexico, finding relief and a new perspective. Indianapolis Colts offensive tackle Braden Smith has always been known for his strength in the trenches, but behind the helmet and pads, he's been quietly battling a much more personal and invisible opponent, obsessive compulsive disorder. Specifically a form known as religious scrupulosity. It's a condition that nearly pushed him out of football altogether. Wow.
Yeah, Braden Smith turns to psychedelics after crippling OCD. What began as a deepening exploration of faith in 2024 spiraled into a mental health crisis for Braden Smith. I was having a court case in my mind all the time, pleading myself to the jury, he said, describing the inner turmoil that fouled his efforts to align his thoughts with Scripture. The NFL veteran became consumed by guilt, fearing that even a stray thought might consult a sin. By the middle of the last season, the effects were debilitating. Smith said he experienced mental breakdowns before games and became so disorientated that he considered retirement. I had no desire to play, he confessed, haunted by obsessive thoughts like, would God want you doing this? Even mid game, he wasn't spared. His OCD would whisper during high stake moments, urging him to sell his soul to win. With support of his wife, Courtney, and a teammate who shared similar struggle, Smith checked into a mental health facility for 48 days. Uh, the diagnosis of OCD offered clarity but limited relief. Surgery was suggested, but the couple instead showed a more unconventional path psychedelic therapy in Mexico using ibogaine and 5-MeO DMT. Wow.
Very cool. Very cool. It opened doors into my mind, Smith said of the experience. These fears, they're not real. The ibogaine gave me that blank slate. The therapy helped him reframe the intrusive thoughts and separate faith from compulsive guilt. Though he can't legally continue the treatment in the US, the impact has been lasting. His journey has since resonated with others battling similar conditions. Smith doesn't pretend to have all the answers, but he urges people to talk to someone they trust. If you don't talk about it, you don't get anything out of it, he emphasized. My wife was the one that was getting me the help. I was ashamed to get help. Now back with the Colts and training for the new season. Smith knows the road ahead still holds mental challenges, but for the first time in a long while, he's not fighting alone, and he's not fighting silently. And that's the end of the story. So that's cool.
Yeah, and it was in the India Times that they were sharing to their populace what was happening in America, and chose a NFL. I mean, granted, it was in the sports section. It still shared Ibogaine. It shared of his story, his healing. I mean, it's awesome.
It is. That is very awesome. It's likewise on Ganja News Update on Monday nights. For the last couple of weeks, we've done stories that have come out of Japan with cannabis. And that's very unusual to see stories coming out of Japan. One was a study about cannabis has proven over there to not be a gateway drug.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's so awesome. But they're scientists. Their scientists proved it's not a gateway.
Exactly. Well, it is a gateway, in my opinion, but not to harder drugs. It's a gateway with the proper support and tools around it. It's a gateway to wellness and health, great health.
Yeah, self-healing, like inner healing.
Exactly. Oh, 100%. And the studies that we've seen with both cannabis and psychedelics, more specifically psychedelics, is the percentages of the success rates. And the long-term studies are starting to come out on some of the longer-term studies, and it's amazing. You're talking about in 80% plus success rates in a lot of cases, and that's something.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways,
our next article comes out of Audacity.com. And that is what you need to know about psychedelic academia and psilocybin golden teacher mushrooms go on a human-fied monohub in the basement of a private home on December 24th. This picture says. Wow. So early this year, Audacity reported on the California Institute of Integral Studies' new accredited bachelor degree in psychedelic research. It was the first of its kind, and this is by Lauren Berry, Chris Blake, and Mike Rogers. Wow, you want to read that for us, man?
Yeah, this is cool. So earlier this year, Odyssey reported on the California Institute of Integral Studies' new accredited bachelor's degree in psychedelic research. It was the first of its kind in the United States. While many people think of psychedelics like LSD and magic mushrooms as recreational drugs, there is a growing field of study on the therapeutic applications. Something offbeat. Host Mike Rogers recently spoke with Jim Grigsby, executive director of the CU Denver Center for Psychedelic Research, to learn more. There's a quote here from Grigsby. Hold on. I don't have my laptop plugged in. Just give me 1 second, folks.
Sure.
My battery's low. Forgot to plug it in.
There we go. Are you good?
I'm good. There's a bit of a little bit of that kind of holdover from the 60s and 70s and the drug war. I think, though, that the number of people who feel that way, both mental health and other healthcare providers, have begun to recognize the utility of this. And that was a quote from Grigsby. Listen to the episode. Oh, it's just a very short story.
Yeah, it was very short. Yeah.
Listen to the full episode to learn more of the history of psychedelic studies and more. Each week, Something Offbeat takes a deeper look at an unusual headline. If you have suggestions for stories, podcasts to cover, you can send them to their email address there. But yeah, you can listen to the full episode right there. There's a clicky link there. I probably will listen to that Probably on the way, maybe even on the way up to Kim's farm, or maybe while I'm packing to go up Thursday. So, and it was a cool story. Very cool story.
It was, and I like it because it keeps you wanting more. But I think Bufo should have clicked on the damn whole report of the study, so we could have covered that. Bufo, what the hell? But it does sound like a good one, and we're talking about a program of in a state where the governor kept on vetoing the bill. So now that this college is teaching the course in an advanced course, it's wild.
Right, exactly. It's great. So, anyways,
it's medication time.
It is. It's time to pay some bills, folks. So stay tuned for a word from some of our sponsors, and then we will return with more articles that Bufo has chosen, making mainstream media news.
Back in 4 minutes and 20 seconds here on Psychedelic Reporters on Knock Network.
There we go. We'll be right back, folks.
Hey, hi, my name is John Mark, aka Sublimator Warrior, and I would like to welcome you to Smoke Signal in Tyendinaga.
One dab make your whole dome drip sweat. One dab make the homies all dip set.
Smoke Signals, Tyendinaga.
Smoke Signals, Tyendinaga.
Smoke Signals, Tyendinaga.
Ooey, ooey, gooey, that's a sticky dab. Might just have to put this one on Instagram.
Smoke Signals, Tyendinaga.
Hold it in, feel it in your wrist.
Smoke Signals, Tyendinaga.
Check us out in Tyendinaga. 55 Highway 49 in Tyendinaga. It's on the res, and we're open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week.
Tune in daily to NOK's diverse podcasting lineup. Ganja News Update, Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern with Tara Simpson and Ron McNabb. Wake Up with the Waniac, Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific with Tombstoner Wayne Cruz. Grow 420, Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Eastern with the Forgetful Stoner Ron McNabb. Psychedelic Reporters, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern with Hobbies Puppets and Tara Simpson. Peace, News and Views, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern with Kim Cooper and Sir Steve-O. Open Your Eye, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern with Kim Cooper and Tara Simpson. Followed by Thursday Night Vibes, 9:15 Eastern with Master and Mama Roach. Cannabis and Crime, Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern with Christine Terra from Machete Cat Productions. The IWK 710 Daily Set airs nightly, 7 days a week, with international rotating joint host, 7 p.m. Eastern. Rise and shine, it's marijuana time. Wake and bake with Ron McNabb at 7 a.m. Eastern, 7 days a week. Thanks for tuning in to all the podcasting on NOK Network.
back to the show.
And we're back from our medication session live here on Psychedelic Reporters here on NOK Network.
And we have another set of stories coming at you in the realm of psychedelics, medicine. Let's get at it.
Let's get at it, folks. We got Todd in the house. Good evening, Todd. And here we go.
Hey, good evening.
Here we go. We got our next story here. This story here is coming to us from the Sudbury Star. Police in Sudbury raid magic mushroom shop and lay drug charges. Shroomies, which voluntarily closed in November, moved across the street and reopened in April, police allege. And this is published July the 3rd, 2025. And last updated 4 days ago, and was written by Star staff. So here we go. Greater Sudbury Police have shut down what they call an illegal psilocybin or magic mushroom dispensary operating downtown and have charged 2 people. Police said in a release that the dispensary Shroomies first opened in November, and at that time, members of the Drug Enforcement Unit, the DEU, immediately engaged with the building owner and the store employees for the purpose of education about the CDSA, the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act, police said. The store employees voluntarily shut down the store, and enforcement was not pursued. However, in April, police were told that the dispensary had now moved across the street from its previous location and was preparing to open for business. The DEU transitioned approach from education to enforcement in a drug investigation was initiated. On Wednesday, detectives from the DEU, assisted by members of the emergency response and intelligence units, executed a CDSA search warrant at the Elm Street business. 2 employees who were actively selling psilocybin were arrested inside the business, police said.
Oh, yeah, so the release said officers seized more than 300 packages of psilocybin and products, including dry psilocybin, psilocybin edibles, and psilocybin capsules. Officers also seized more than $18,000 in cash from the sale of psilocybin. The value of the seized drugs is $16,500. As a result, 2 individuals were charged with possession of psilocybin for the purpose of trafficking psilocybin, and possession of property obtained by crime over $5,000. Both individuals were released with future court date to answer to the charges. Police said their names cannot be released at this time because the information has yet not been sworn to go through court process. We would like to remind our community that selling and possessing psilocybin is still illegal, and officers will continue with enforcement under the Controlled Drugs and Substance Act, police said. Wow.
Yeah. So selling psilocybin carries a maximum of 10 years in prison, police said. The store was formerly located in the former Elm News space at Elm and Durham and was Sudbury's first outlet for magic mushrooms. We're just trying to operate no different to the weed dispensaries, franchise owner Joe, who preferred his last name to be withheld, told the Star in November. I believe in the movement and feel people need a safe place to come, to be able to come and buy these psilocybin products without the complications of street dealers or mail strikes. Shroomies offered dried mushrooms with all their hallucinogenic promise, along with microdosing supplies and a range of edibles, gummies, teas, and chocolate bars that are infused with psilocybin. People take magic mushrooms for different reasons, including recreational use, spiritual or mystical experiences, and potential therapeutic benefits. Some people microdose, taking very small amounts to potentially experience a subtle mood or cognitive enhancements without full-blown psychedelic effects. Others seeking more intense experience for recreational enjoyment or to explore altered states of consciousness. There's also growing interest in psilocybin, the active compound in magic mushroom, for its potential in treating conditions like depression and anxiety. And when he spoke to the Star in November, Joe said he has struggled with depression since his early teens and found taking mushrooms once or twice a year helpful for his mental health. I've been on the same antidepressant since I was about 13, and macrodosing will give me a reset when my antidepressants are no longer doing what they need to do, he said. So yeah, people are, I don't know. The studies show 80 plus percent in long-term reduction or elimination of symptoms of depression and anxiety. Show me that in a pill.
I agree. I agree. It's tough reading these raids as we and illegal police thing. It is a reminder of the legality. I'm sure it's tough as the officer in threat assessment,
especially if the officer knows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if the officer knows the benefits of it, he's still. So, anyways, carry on.
Oh, yeah, well, and it's the more we're gonna evolve as a culture and learn more. In our next article coming out of the UK, filmnews.co.uk, the more these celebrities come out and embrace the world, it's going to be a lot better, I think. And this says Eliza Dushku pivots. I don't know how to say it. I hope I didn't screw that up, lady. But pivots to psychedelic counseling career, and that is a hell of a pivot. And I'll go on. Eliza Dushku has pivoted to a new career as a psychedelic counselor. The Buffy star completed a master's degree in clinical mental health counseling 8 years after she walked away from Eliza, 44, shared a video of herself walking across the stage at Lesley University in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and declared the new career her calling. Graduating with my master's degree feels like more than an achievement. It feels like a deep calling. Realize, bring it on, star wrote in a lengthy caption to accompany the clip. True growth, energy, and passion manifested. Wow.
Right. And I couldn't agree with you more. As you get more celebrities and sports figures, prominent sports figures at that, getting involved and speaking at these conferences, psychedelic conferences and stuff, and not just that, but speaking out in mainstream media with the major news networks when they're being interviewed, it's going to help break down the stigma and make this more acceptable, just as it should be. Just as it should be. That sounded like a good hit. Anyways, we're moving on to our last.
Oh no, there's still more. Dude. There's still more on here, man. It says the Dollhouse actor added she had spent nearly a decade. Okay. Yep. Yeah, it's in between the two ads, dude.
Oh,
Did you read it?
Okay. Yeah, I'll read it. Right. The Dollhouse actor added. Here, I gotta share the right tab. There we go. The Dollhouse actor added she had spent nearly a decade conducting the inner work necessary to achieve her goal of becoming a qualified mental health worker. Today, I stand grounded and ready to support others on their journeys of becoming through self discovery, healing, and transformation. She wrote, the connectedness I feel in holding safe, compassionate space for those who seek the undertaking is such lifeblood now to possibility, hope, and healing all. Eliza previously spoke about her own psychedelic healing journey after alleged sexual assaults and harassment by former colleagues on more than one set, telling Boston Magazine that psychedelic assisted therapy had helped her feel safe in my body and in my life, naming and telling the truth about things. So, yeah. Sorry, I just realized that was the end. That wasn't the end. I goofed up. I goofed up.
It was a good hit for both of us.
I think so. I think so. So now we're moving on to our last story for the evening. And yeah. Did you want me to do this one or you got this one, Todd?
Oh, yeah. So that comes from WZZM13.com. It states Michigan lawmaker introduces bill to decriminalize psychedelic mushrooms to treat PTSD. Democratic State Representative Mike McFall introduced the bill Wednesday, uh, citing promising national research into the benefits of psychedelics for PTSD treatment. Uh, this is written by Stephen Boner, and it's published the 27th from Lansing, Michigan.
Yeah.
You
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
you want to start?
Yeah, a Michigan lawmaker is hoping to give veterans a new way to treat post traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, with legislation he introduced Wednesday. State Representative Mike McFall, a Democrat out of Hazel Park, introduced House Bill 4686, which would decriminalize psilocybin possession for people with a PTSD diagnosis. Psilocybin is a naturally occurring psychedelic compound that can be found in certain types of mushrooms. The drug has been used in therapy for a range of conditions, including PTSD. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs notes that psilocybin assisted therapy has been shown to be effective in treating depression, anxiety, and substance abuse. The research on its impacts on PTSD are minimal. But the VA also notes that there is great interest in studying the effects of psilocybin assisted therapy on patients suffering from PTSD. The Healing Hearts Project, and there is a clicky link there, a nonprofit dedicated to assisting veterans suffering from PTSD, uses psychedelic therapies for veterans and claims 80% of the veterans they treat experience significant improvement with just one psychedelic program. And there's a quote here. Our understanding of medicine is constantly evolving, and there has been a shift in treating PTSD with psychedelics over the last decade. Preliminary research is promising that psilocybin has potentially life-changing effects for extended periods of time after treatment, McFall said. We need to support our veterans and those suffering from PTSD as much as possible. My bill will help protect those suffering from PTSD so they can use their medicine without fear of the unnecessary legal risks that veterans seeking this treatment currently must navigate.
The language of the bill limits possession of psilocybin to 2 ounces at a time for individuals who are 18 years of age or older and have a PTSD medical diagnosis. The patients receiving psilocybin may only have the drug for personal use. Several cities in Michigan have already decriminalized the possession, use, and growth of psychedelic mushrooms. Some of the cities that have decriminalized the drug include Ferndale, Detroit, Hazel Park, Ann Arbor, and Ypsilanti. In January of 2021, Washtenaw County became the first county in the state to decriminalize the substance. As a veteran with PTSD, I am encouraged by the legislative efforts to decriminalize psilocybin since it's been clinically proven to mitigate and eliminate the symptomology related to PTSD. This is important considering the vast field of studies over 25 years that identity that PTSD can lead to coronary vascular diseases, arterial fibrillation, arterial flutter, which means there is an awesome opportunity to prevent veterans from developing life-threatening heart conditions with the treatment of psilocybin, said Michael G. Smith Jr., Sergeant, First Class, U.S. Army retired. I have had more success in the mitigation of my PTSD symptoms with microdosing psilocybin than all the talk therapy offered by the VA healthcare system. And I have done all their therapies available, such as prolonged exposure therapy, depression, general anxiety disorder, and anger management. Psilocybin is only legal for medicinal use in adults unassisted. In Colorado, New Mexico, and Oregon legalized medicinal use with a licensed therapist or facilitator. Huh.
Great. Very cool. Very cool. It's nice to see that this is being more integrated in things, especially with our veterans, especially with the veterans.
Well, and I like the fact of the veterans because it's something everybody sticks up for. It's something everybody is compassionate for, and the more
Right.
it is recognized for, I mean, let's say the veterans, the more it gets recognized as a whole for mental health. And that
Exactly.
recognition and that treatment for the mental health is where the true, because everybody struggles, man, and so for me
Right.
to say, okay, just because this guy sacrificed his life, we'll give him the medicine, but not you. To me, that's not fair.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you there. And I try to be careful when I put focus on the veterans because they're not the only ones who suffer from PTSD. There's other people that suffer, like anyone can suffer from PTSD. Now, the veterans have a higher likelihood of having some more severe traumatic effects due to the nature of their job. But they are a great face to the public, to the greater society, as someone who, as opposed to making the psychedelic stigma lessened by people in Hollywood or sports figures, people could still draw the line saying, that's just like they're in party mode or whatever. But no, you're talking about veterans that are looking at healing themselves. They don't know what else to do, and they're a good face that people could trust when they when they put their voice forward. So.
Oh yeah, and when paramedics, like in some states where paramedics can
Exactly.
access that medicine, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, so thank you for joining us here on Psychedelic Reporters on Knock Network, and for tuning in to our video podcast on Knock Network's Rumble and YouTube pages, as well as our social media sites.
That's right. And we hope you all enjoyed your update on mainstream media coverage of psychedelic medicine advancements from around the globe.
Many thanks to our sponsors and my joint host, Ron McNabb, and to Bufo Various for choosing the stories, and to you, our listeners, for joining each week on Psychedelic Tuesday, let's hear from Dead Ringer again from Kirkland Lake on our way out. Good night.
Good night. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Looking at myself, reflections of my mind. It's just the kind of day to leave myself behind. So gently swaying through the fairyland of love. If you'll just come with me, you'll see the beauty of